how frustrating is it when you get a really good expensive pair of running shoes and start to see it developing a hole in the toe box? Does this look familiar? I'm someone who's always been prone to that, and today I'm going to show you a cheap solution on how to prevent holes in your shoes, particularly those from your big toe. Now you could also try using it to help you from developing holes in other areas of the shoe, but in this video I'll focus on holes caused by the big toe. But first of all, I want to welcome you to How To with Kevin. And of course, I'm Kevin. And like all of you out there, things come up and we have to deal with them. So I made this channel to share some of the things I've either learned or figured out to either make things easier or save a lot of money, and hopefully you find it helpful. So anyways, back to the problem at hand. I've always had issues with getting holes in my shoes caused by my big toes, particularly with so many walking and running shoes using mesh at the toe box. And I've tried everything that's supposed to help. Trimming my nails shorter, wearing thicker socks, and even tried wearing slightly bigger or even smaller shoes, and none of it helped. So anyways, about 15 or 20 years ago, probably when I first started to wear more expensive shoes, I thought about what I could do to prevent getting these holes in the toe box. Now to give you just a little background on how I came up with this, I'm a doctor in occupational therapy, and at that time I was working in a clinic with mostly older people. And one of the things that happens to people as we get older is that our skin becomes more fragile, and because of that, we're more likely to have problems with blisters or sores when your skin has constant pressure on it. So we had a product that we used to help prevent that for our patients, where we could put it over harder surfaces to provide some protection and pressure relief. And because the product is thin and made with a sticky adhesive on one side, it seemed like a good idea to help me with my holey shoes problem. So what is this miracle product called? It's called moleskin. Yes, moleskin. Now don't worry, any animal lovers out there or anyone that gets creeped out by the thought of moles, it's not made from moles. It's actually a heavy but thin fabric made from cotton. Here's a small piece I have for you to see. It's really soft on one side, and then the other side is paper backing to protect the adhesive side until you apply it onto something. Again, you can see how thin it is, which was one of the main reasons I decided to give this a shot for saving my shoes. Some of the other things were that the adhesive was fairly strong, which was good for durability purposes. And another big thing was that since it was made from cotton, it was breathable, even though it's really tightly woven. And then the last thing is that it's really easy to work with. You can just trim it with a regular pair of scissors to the size you need. Super easy. Anyways, so working in the clinic, I had some waste pieces available and I decided to give it a shot. And I have to say, it's worked really good. So now that I'm going to be breaking in a new pair of shoes, I knew I needed to protect them with the moleskin, so I thought I would share this with you guys here on YouTube. Before I tell you more about the moleskin and where to get it, let me show you how it works. Alright, since there's only a small area where you need to protect the shoe from your big toe, you only need a small piece. So taking the sheet of the moleskin and just a regular pair of scissors, so you just need to cut a piece big enough to cover that area. So let's make this look like that. Okay. Now you can make this bigger if you want to try for the first time, but for me this usually just a small piece is all I really need. Okay, so now that we got it cut, what I want to do is I want to loosen my shoestrings up as much as possible because it's hard to get your hand in there. Okay, so you really want that tongue to be able to come up. And again, so what I did was I sort of went backwards here because I knew the adhesive side goes up. So I sort of cut it with a little bit of a rounded edge on this side. Something you want to consider before you cut. It can be a little bit tricky to get the adhesive off, so if you find a corner, that's sort of the easiest way to do it. Once I get that on there, I actually hold it a little bit with my thumb, but it's really hard to get your thumb all the way in there. So what I end up doing is I end up sort of pinching it like this, okay? And I just work it up in there to the point where I feel I'm at this area, at the toe. And don't be afraid if you have to do it a couple of times. It'll come back off when it's still on there. But you want to make sure it's smooth. You want to make sure it's over that area where the toe's going to hit. And again, you just want to put some pressure. You want to make sure it's sticking as good as it can. So again, I usually hold it and push from both sides on it to get a lot of good pressure to make sure it's completely sticking to it. If you don't get a good stick to it, or there's part that's or there's a part of the adhesive that's not touching it, what will happen is your shoe will start to roll it off. So again, you want to make sure you get in there as good as you can. Super easy fix. Now after time, or if you don't get good contact onto the top of the shoe, you'll have to apply some more moleskin. Now I've never tried to add extra glue on top of the adhesive, but I guess it's something you could experiment with if you have problems with it sticking. The good thing is it's really easy to get and pretty cheap. I've seen it at drugstores and at Target for under $2. And I've seen it charged a lot more, so definitely look around. Another thing, for anyone that uses a health savings account, moleskin is an HSA eligible item, so you can get reimbursed for it out of your account tax-free. Now on my first channel, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, I talk a lot about HSAs, and in fact I just updated the information for 2022 in a new video, so you might want to check that out if you haven't seen it. Anyway, back to buying the moleskin. In most cases it comes in a package with about 3 sheets of it, with those sheets being probably about 4 to 5 inches long and 3 to 4 inches wide. Because you need so little for each shoe, one package will probably last you a long time. The piece I've showed you, I've been cutting from that one for probably more than 10 years over many pairs of shoes. I've also used the moleskin for other things as well, and maybe I'll make some more videos on those other things I've used it for. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that or seeing other things I do. So far, since I've just recently started this second channel, I've had videos on replacing a mailbox post without digging, removing a computer hard drive, and even turning a laminate countertop into a concrete one. All things I'd never done before, but all things that turned out really good. So I hope you consider coming along with me as I continue to show you new DIY things. Hopefully today's video will help you preserve the life of your expensive shoes and in the long run save you some money. And if you think it will and you found the video helpful, please like it and share it with anyone else you think it could help as well. And if you're interested in DIY investing and financial types of videos, check out my first channel, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. I'll link it for you in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.